Hello, I'm Nico, and today I'm gonna interview.
My name is Lance Hoppen, and I am the one of the co-founders of the band Orleans. See, Orleans, there it is.
And how many of the founding members are still with the band?
Well, that's a good story. There were four of us initially. One of us passed away in the '80s, and my brother just passed away recently. He was the lead singer, and he passed in July of 2012. So uh, he was the only one who never missed a gig. I have missed gigs, and John Hall, my other partner, he ducked out for years, but he's back again, and so there's still two co-founders in a five-piece band.
And what else does John Hall do?
Well, John was an activist turned congressman. He was elected to the U.S. Congress as a congressman of New York State and served from 2010 through 2007 through 2010, and now he's back with us.
I was doing some research and I saw that y'all were active, and then y'all took like 10 years or
Well,
something. What happened then?
well, today this is our 40th year. We started in 1972. We had our first album out in '73, and our heyday was in the mid '70s. And that's when we had our big hit, biggest hit, "Still the One."
But I saw that there was like 10 years or something where y'all weren't active.
Well, there were times when it went up and down. John quit the band in '77, and we were down for a couple of years. And then we came back without him. We had another hit called "Love Takes Time," and then that lasted into the '80s. And then we put it away, and then my brother and I got back with John. And we started up again, and so it's on again, off again. We never really quit for 10 years. We may have taken three or four here or there, two, three, four, and then started back up again. But nobody's paying attention.
Oh,
Uh,
oh well.
but by and large, most years we have played. Most years we've played over the 40 years. Maybe four, maybe five or six we didn't.
Could you tell me about "Still the One"?
The story is that song was written. The lyric was written on a napkin by John's ex-wife Johanna. She had a friend who was complaining why nobody ever wrote any stay together songs, only breakup songs. Go ahead again. So she wrote that lyric on a napkin and handed it to John, and he says he wrote the music in about 10 minutes. And we didn't know what we had, we were playing whatever songs, and that was just one of them. We went in the studio, and our producer kind of molded it and whatever, and it came out, and it was a smash hit, and has made a career, that and a couple other songs. We have like 16 albums and lots of stuff, so I hate to reduce a career to just a couple of songs, but actually we get to work on the basis of "Still the One," "Dance with Me," "Love Takes Time," those three big songs.
And how many of the songs did y'all write?
John and his ex wrote a lot of songs for the band, including "Still the One" and "Dance with Me." My brother Larry co-wrote "Love Takes Time," and over the years we've had different collaborations, individually or together in twos and threes and fours, and it just keeps changing as we go. But so we all have our hand in it. We all sing, but that doesn't mean we're all a radio voice.
Could you tell me the story behind "Dance with Me"?
That was we were rehearsing in. I was renting a house, and we had a little garage, and we had mattresses on the garage wall. That's where we rehearsed in the neighborhood, right? In a cinder block garage with mattresses on the wall. And John came in with that lick on the acoustic guitar. No lyric, no anything. And Larry, my brother, said, "Well, that's a good one. You should finish that." So that became "Dance with Me," and we recorded that on our second album, which never came out. Never came out in the States. We got dropped from the label. So the first recording of that wasn't a hit, but the second recording of it became the hit.
How many albums have y'all recorded?
It's hard to count because they repackage things, but I think there's 15 or 16 unique sets of songs, 15 or 16 albums.
And how did y'all come up with the name Orleans?
That's a really boring story, and it was actually before my time, before I was in the band, which was 9 months in. They were a trio before me, and they started playing, and they didn't have a name, and they were at a club, and the club said, "We're going to have you back because everybody likes you, but what's your name?" And they said, "Well, I don't know." "Well, you have to have a name." So they kicked through like a couple hundred names, and Orleans was the first one that of the three of them, nobody hated. Nobody hated it. And actually, the band started as like a bar band. It wasn't like a recording band. It was a lot of covered songs, and they were playing Meters and Now Into Saint and swampy stuff and Memphis and all these various things. So that kind of fit, and nobody objected. And it was always, well, we'll change it next week. We'll change it when we get a deal. We'll change it, but we never changed it.
Do y'all have any ideas what you would have changed it to?
No idea, and we certainly weren't thinking of Googling Orleans and never finding it because of everything from New Orleans. I mean, we weren't thinking of marketing at that point. It was like not that way back in 1972. So we didn't choose the name because it was a good brand. It just became what it was.
All right. Thanks for
Thanks, Nico.
the interview.
We rarely get to Texas, so
Do you have anything else you want to say to?
I'd like to say thank you for the inquiry from Waxahachie, from the Country Reporter Festival. They actually solicited us on their website to come because we don't get to come to Texas very often, so I appreciate it. And everybody can find us, if they want to find us, at orleansonline.com, and there's like a lot of history and videos and stories and pictures and merchandise and tour dates, like to keep abreast of what we're doing.
Oh, do you have any plans to continue like next year or?
It's up in the air because with my brother having passed this summer, it changes everything, and I decided right away we needed to finish this year's calendar one way or another. I didn't know how we would do it, but we pulled our forces together, and actually we have 2 more shows for this year. Now what happens next year, I don't really know. We'd like to play, and we can play, but are there any gigs? We don't know. So it's always like that. We'll see if there's a year 41.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it. Send me the link.
Okay.
Take care, bye.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.